This ranch has been in the family for 6 generations. It was homesteaded by my great-great-grandfather in 1883. In 1897, on this small hill in the middle of the ranch, my great-grandfather and a number of the local people built the small fort to protect themselves from the Indians. It was named Fort Howes after my great-grandfather, who homesteaded the ranch and where the fort is located. On top of the hill by the fort, you can see a lot of the surrounding hills and valley floor. This is a working cow-calf ranch that the whole family participates in, including my mother and father and all 3 of my daughters. We work the cattle almost daily with the horses on the ranch. We became interested in endurance racing in 1995, did several rides for the next couple of years. In 1997, we decided to put on the Fort Howes endurance ride. We decided to do it because we wanted to showcase the country and show what nice country this is to ride in.
Here in southeastern Montana, where the ride site is basically, quite remote and not a lot of people living around here. I think that adds quite a bit to the ride's atmosphere. Another keynote is that the pavement ends about 2 miles from the ride site. You'll often won't see a car on the road as you pull, into this area. It's a really friendly area around here.
Well, arriving at camp, we were actually quite lucky. We pulled in and there was some folks there watering their horses, so we just pulled up and asked where the vet checks would be and where you would actually go out onto the trail, so we could choose our prime parking spot for ourselves. Well, the camping area is set up great. There's water at both ends of the camp, and there's buckets also on the sides of the camp, so no matter where you park, you're not far from water for your horse. And they also have porta-johns and spread throughout the camp, so you're also not too far from a bathroom. So it's very well set up and very well organized for everybody, not just the people that arrive first.
When we pulled in on Friday morning, there was plenty of places to park your rigs, lots of wide open spaces with a lot of grass, and camp was just set up very nicely. Water accessible to get for the horses, and bathroom facilities. It's just an ideal setting.
The camp is a large, maybe a 100 or 200 acre meadow. The whole valley has a series of hay meadows going up, so we have plenty of room, and we're surrounded by sandstone bluffs, sandstone formations, juniper and pines up at the top. As soon as you rolled into the camping area, there were signs telling you where to go, where to park. Absolutely no question about it. There was already water set up. The outhouses were there.
This is phenomenal. I won't be able to go home and rave about this race enough. There was lots of volunteer help. Everybody was just terrific. Everybody was so nice. It's like every good race you've been to with that extra touch.
Traditionally, the ride has tried to get in at least 5 veterinarians to work the ride. We've always dealt with real top-notch veterinarians. We try to get people that are very horse-oriented, that are familiar with endurance and familiar with the needs of the horse.
So there were no problems at all with having veterinary care for your horse, having good instruction.
We had some of the best vets in the country, I think, and I was glad to see that there was so much care and caution taken over how the horses were doing.
So you have a feeling that you're not just at some random ride camp. You're actually at somebody's home. This is their ranch, their home.
The whole thing's basically put on by volunteers. There's some of the vets are the only ones that are actually getting paid out here. Everybody else is all friends of the Stevens, and everybody jumps in and does their little part, and the whole thing gets done. And it's fun because it's a community vet. Everybody jumps in and helps together. One of my favorite parts of the whole thing out here is my wife and I, we put on one Friday night, we cooked steaks for everybody. Last year we cooked, close to 250 steaks. This year I think we had a little bit less. It's a great thing to do because everybody comes together at the tent and we all get to sit down and talk about what we're going to do the next day, and it's a great way to pull the people together. And
You guys are going to get up really early tomorrow morning? I've got you starting at 4:30. It will be a controlled start.
I've been riding for 15 years. I've ridden about 6,000 miles on various horses. I really like this ride. It's particularly friendly and it's a very homely environment. I particularly also like the start of these races here because here they give you a controlled start so that everybody gets to relax their horses before we start taking off onto the trails, which is particularly nice.
Hard to control our horses. The horses got very jiggy. I had to slow them down. It was really neat to be with so many people. It might have been hard to control our horses, but we had a controlled start, and someone kept us back while we were starting up, so there was no galloping off at the start. So it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be.
The course here at Fort House we've found to be challenging for all levels. It's not impossible for the first-time rider or the first-time horse to come and do our ride. It's not overly taxing, but it still provides a lot of ups and downs and flat course to travel on. It's a medium level course. The course here at Fort House is also challenging to those people that are, the more advanced riders that have got a great deal of miles on. And I know the 100-milers said that it was a good challenge. It wasn't an impossible ride, but it wasn't an easy go. It kept them thinking throughout the course.
The elevation at the ride camp is about 3,200 feet above sea level. There are places on the trail where you can climb to 4,200 feet above sea level, and several trail loops involve multiple smaller climbs. So 1,000 feet of climb can be found on many of the trail loops.
The trails mainly consist of two-track jeep roads, basically, unmaintained. There's also a large amount of it is cow trails and then some cross-country meadows. There is some rock on the trail, but it basically isn't, anything of any concern. Riding here, Bill and I don't pad our horses. The local people in this area don't pad their horses when they shoe, and so I don't think that it's, a concern that you would need to pad prior to the ride. The ride generally is hosted 2 weeks after Memorial Day. If riders are interested in getting information on the ride, they could contact us. Fort House rider packets with the information on the ride are generally available around the first of the year.